Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. I'm Niraj Shah. Let's take stock of the global news flow. Actually, the most important news flow to my mind is an analysis that global bankers are doing around what will happen around the JP Morgan bond inclusion in India being included there. And the probable date is June 28th. So around June 28th, a decade high 2 billion bond inflow on a single day might be there. Maybe, presumably, on June 28th. Now, typically, why this is important, of course, because it has impact on yields, rupee, so on and so forth, and which is why I'm giving it so much of importance right at the start. You should know the importance of this date in a few days from now, because FIs have started buying into India as well, by the way. So that's part one. On June 28th, the central bank, apparently what will happen is what the hypothesis is, that the central bank, which is Reserve Bank of India, will lap up most of these dollars to avoid a knee-jerk rise in the currency as well. But it's not something that we've seen too often, a rise in the rupee being contained as opposed to a fall in the rupee being guarded. And of course, more importantly, people say that a 2 billion single day inflow estimated by 4 bankers trails only the record high 2.7 poured in August 2014, by the way. Forget the asterisk here, but August 2014, at that point of time, there was this mention of, oh, what will happen if there is a rating upgrade, and that gained traction, and therefore there was an inflow there. But this will be quite stellar. So watch out for end of June. It has a lot of important elements laid up to itself. Okay, now what the global markets did, US markets ended in the green. The futures are little changed as well. So there's no red on the screen as far as the US goes. Asia is awaiting some data from China, and as a result of which, quiet, about 0.25% lower. Won't be surprised if our markets too have that kind of a feeling today. About 20 odd points in the green. It could very well have been in the red like yesterday. Remember, aside of banks, almost everything else kind of was just ambling along or was in the red, as a result of which our markets just about ended about 0.05% lower in trade yesterday. And this is despite banks doing what they did. I don't know if you can pull up the performances yesterday. Nifty 50, look at that, 0.18%, but banks did really well. So FI buying led to the uptick in banking stocks, which showed up the Nifty. Had it not been for this, it would have been a problem. But the other thing is, viewers, very importantly, remember yesterday I was talking about large asset sales happening, QIPs, block deals, and I think it's the domestic flow from retail investors like you, me, and others, which is leading to DIs mopping up large fundraisers in the secondary markets. So the Nifty was flat despite the bank Nifty being higher, or I could argue that despite over 22,000 crores worth of asset sales, QIPs plus block deals in a single day, the Nifty was just 0.18% down. Ask this to me 10 years ago, what would happen if there was 25,000 crores being raised? I would tell you the markets would be a couple of percentage points lower maybe. Not yesterday. And that's the power of the DI money, or the retail money, or the mutual fund money coming in really. It's been 8 consecutive months of gains for autos, but steam still left. By the way, remember that if you look at the performance, this is second only to the rally that we had in autos back in November 2014 again. So this is turning out to be quite a blockbuster last 7-8 months for autos. People believe steam is still left, especially in auto ancillaries, but maybe even in autos. So bear that in mind. And specialty chemicals is starting to see multiple brokerage notes citing value buying there. And I think I'll watch out for some of the spec chem names. In fact, there's a Nuvama note. I'd like to bring that up if we can before we get to specific stocks. Nuvama has come out with a note on specialty chemicals. They say that the overall demand outlook for specialty chemicals has improved. The end user industries such as FMCG and autos are witnessing a demand recovery. More importantly, they are also witnessing falling channel inventories, and because inventories are going down, it's a big thing. So they say, according to Nuvama, players catering to FMCG, which is Galaxy Surfactants, Fine Organics, Rosari Biotech, and Yasho Industries. Now let's move to the previous plate. So those are the ones which are likely beneficiaries of improvement in rural demand. So Nuvama is naming Galaxy Surfactants, Fine Organics, Rosari Biotech, and Yasho Industries. And then they move on to say that players like GFL, which is Gujarat Fluoro, are witnessing sequential recovery in demand, and therefore this is a stock that you should watch out for as well. So watch out for some of these key names if Nuvama is to be believed. Then some stocks to watch. Sun Pharma has received a warning letter from US FDA for the Dadra facility. The warning letter summarizes the current good manufacturing practice regulations. And remember, this is, I'll tell you why this is important, viewers, because December 4th to 15, 2023, the Dadra plant was inspected. It received 6 observations. April 2024, the plant was classified as official action initiated. And now in June, the plant has been issued a warning letter as well. The estimates are between $225 to $250 million worth of sales could have happened in FY24 to the US from the Dadra facility. So watch out. I reckon Sun Pharma could see a bit of a stick today. Let's see. Then Som Distilleries, the group company has been suspended due to concerns around child labor, the license at least. Now remember, Som has had a bit of a yo-yo. It corrected, then stabilized a little bit as well. Now it's not the listed company's operations which get impacted because it's the same group though. You might see a further reaction in Som Distilleries today. So watch out for this one. I do think upsides are ruled out at least. Then one block deal and one QIP. The block deal is happening in PNB Housing Asia Opportunities Fund, and General Atlantic will sell about 4.2% stake if I'm not wrong. That's about 1.08 crore shares at a floor price of 773. The price is 840, so about 8% downside. 8% lower is the floor price for PNB Housing, and Mass Financials too. The QIPs of 400 crores could be upsized to 500 crores, by the way. Indicative offer price is 286, which is about an 8% discount to the current price of 313. So watch out for Mass Financials as well. It's a large fundraise, but yesterday we saw this happening with Sansera as well. The stock went up in trade because of the clean out trade. I'm not quite sure if the same thing could happen here. So be careful with Mass Financial. Could happen, may not happen. PNC Infratech, the company's MD and director, has appeared before the CBI. We do not have other details about what's the nature of the investigation, etc. They've said they are cooperating, but suffice to say there might be a bit of a stick that PNC Infratech too could get in the session today. So these are a few names that you got to watch out for in the session today. Aside of this, is there something else? No, not really. These are the key names that you got to watch out for in the session today. Newspapers are reporting about how Syngene will expect business revival in H2, and there are some cabinet decisions taken around a port, around MSP, and around some others. Maybe some of those stocks, related stocks, could react, but in terms of newsmakers, I think we've covered most of the things. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup.